Alright, let's dive into this story the way it deserves to be told. You know that feeling when something just lifts a weight off your shoulders? That's exactly the vibe right now. I couldn't wait to talk about this during my lunch break because there's something truly exciting going on. A major update just dropped, and even though there are a few bumps in the road, the overall tone feels optimistic. We've got real movement on a situation that fans have been monitoring closely, and it's worth breaking down all the layers of what this means for the team, the locker room, and the upcoming season. So here's where things get interesting. A clear statement was made recently, one that emphasized the goal of not letting contract negotiations drag into the off-season workouts, especially the ones scheduled to begin in April. That right there is a big deal. Why? Because it shows an intention to keep things clean, efficient, and focused. These off-season programs are vital for building chemistry, setting the tone, and getting everyone aligned. When contract talks spill into those sessions, it can create tension or distraction. But from the sound of it, that's not the plan here. Instead, we're seeing signs of professionalism and a willingness to work things out without letting them interfere with the team's momentum. Now here's the kicker. Someone showed up. And not just any someone. We're talking about a key player who could have easily stayed away like others have in similar situations. No one would have blamed him. He's in the middle of negotiating a big extension, and history has shown us that plenty of players in that position choose to skip voluntary workouts until they get what they want. But not this guy. He made the decision to show up and participate from day one, sending a strong message about where his priorities lie. That action alone speaks volumes. It tells the team, the coaching staff, and the fans that he's all in, even if everything hasn't been finalized just yet. What makes this even more exciting is the buzz surrounding the possibility of a multi-year contract extension. There's real momentum behind the scenes, and people close to the situation are suggesting that negotiations are heading in a positive direction. That's a win across the board. For the player, it's a sign that the organization sees his value and is working toward locking him in for the long haul. For the team, it means stability at a crucial position. And for us, the fans, it's reassurance that the franchise is committed to keeping its core pieces together. One tweet in particular got everyone talking. It hinted at progress being made and framed today's presence of practice as a key indicator of that progress. The way I see it, if he's there, it means things are close. Not necessarily done, but close enough that he feels good about showing up. It's rare to get that kind of clarity during contract talks, which are usually murky and full of speculation. But this feels different. There's a sense of optimism in the air. And it's not just wishful thinking. It's grounded in real developments. That being said, there were plenty of folks who doubted this would happen. Leading up to today, there was a lot of chatter about whether or not he'd be present. Some assumed he'd sit out, maybe as leverage, maybe as a statement. Others thought he'd follow the blueprint laid out by other players in similar contract situations. But he took a different route. He showed up, he put in the work. And that decision changes the entire tone of the conversation. Let's not forget what this means strategically. Had the team decided to use the franchise tag, we'd be looking at a whole different scenario right now. That move would have locked him into a one-year deal at a fixed rate and potentially caused even more tension. But thankfully that didn't happen. Instead, it appears both sides are working collaboratively to find a solution that benefits everyone. That's what makes this so encouraging. It's not just about one player getting paid. It's about building something sustainable. So yeah, this is huge. And the fact that he was there on day one, taking part in drills and being around his teammates just confirms what we've all been hoping. The negotiations are in a good place. Maybe not completely wrapped up, but close enough that everyone can breathe a little easier. People who are plugged into the league have echoed that sentiment, suggesting that things are progressing well and that a deal could be announced sooner rather than later. Now, could he still have chosen to stay away? Absolutely. He could have made a public stand, said he wouldn't step foot on the field without a new deal, and no one would have questioned his commitment. But instead, he showed leadership. Maybe he's already been offered what he's looking for. Maybe he just believes in the process. Or maybe, just maybe, he's showing the kind of dedication that goes beyond dollars and cents. Either way, it's a good sign. It sends the right message, both internally and externally. And let's talk about leadership for a second. Showing up in moments like this speaks louder than anything that can be said at a press conference. It sets a tone, it builds trust, and it shows younger players what it means to be a pro. That kind of presence matters more than people realize. When veterans step up and do the right thing, even when they don't have to, it has a ripple effect through the entire building. Now, while this is all exciting, there are still other storylines that need attention. Not everything is sunshine and smooth sailing. One prominent name, a Pro Bowl tight end who's been vital to the team's offense, is not participating in the voluntary program. That's a bit of a letdown. We all knew there was some friction when it came to his contract situation, and unfortunately, that tension hasn't been resolved yet. It's disappointing, but not surprising. Everyone knew negotiations with him were going to be tricky. The hope is still that a deal gets done and he becomes the highest paid player at his position, which he absolutely deserves. But right now, the two sides seem far apart, and that's not ideal. It's tough because having him out there would have been a huge boost for team morale. But again, this is a business, and sometimes these things take time. The concern is whether this turns into a bigger issue down the road. But for now, it's more of a frustration than a full-blown problem. One step at a time, right? Meanwhile, another player who's also in line for an extension did show up today. That's noteworthy, especially given the circumstances. His decision to be present isn't just about workouts, it's about leadership. It's about reconnecting with a returning coach, and it's about setting a tone for the upcoming season. That kind of energy is exactly what this team needs right now. The reunion with a familiar face on the coaching staff could be a huge motivator, and it looks like this player is ready to take full advantage of the opportunity. And let's not forget the bigger picture. Watching players return to the field after months off is always refreshing. There's a buzz in the air. The organized team activities might seem like just a warm-up, but they're a crucial first step. Seeing the guys back out there running drills, laughing, competing, it reminds you of what's coming. It brings the game back to life. Now, there's a subplot that could stir up some drama, depending on how you look at it. A veteran wide receiver, someone with real talent, but also some questions around him, has been in the news. Apparently, he's considering an offer, but his mindset doesn't seem to be in the right place. He's voiced some thoughts, and while he's being transparent, it also raises eyebrows. When a player starts to openly question things, especially about potential fit or money, you have to wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. But look, he's a seasoned guy. He's been around the league, changed teams a few times, and there's always speculation about what he brings to the table now. He still has skills, no doubt. But is he worth the full price tag? That's the big question. And honestly, I wouldn't blame the team for being cautious here. The upside is there, but so are the risks. So it's a bit of a waiting game. The thing is, a lot of this information is coming from the player's agent, which means we're hearing the version of the story that benefits the client the most. That's just how the business works. So while fans are understandably emotional about it, it's important to stay grounded and not let it cloud the bigger picture. The team is doing its due diligence. Whether a deal happens or not, it's not something to lose sleep over. What really matters is that momentum is building in the right places. Some big names are showing up, others are still negotiating, but the overall direction is promising. The season is creeping closer, and with the NFL draft just 2 days away, the timing of all this couldn't be more perfect. It's shaping up to be an exciting stretch. So buckle up, things are just getting started. Let's keep this energy going because there's still a lot on the table, and with everything unfolding ahead of the NFL draft, the timing is just too perfect. We're seeing key players making moves, decisions being made behind closed doors, and narratives taking shape that could define not just the offseason, but the entire upcoming season. And it all starts with the players who show up, and those are who don't. One thing that really stands out in this whole situation is how perception can shift in an instant. Take the veteran wide receiver, for example. Just a few months ago, his name carried serious weight in conversations about free agency and potential roster upgrades. But now, there's hesitation. And that's not all on him. Age, injuries, and system fit all play a part. The issue is when a player reaches a certain point in their career and still carries the expectation of a top-tier contract, the market tends to push back. Teams become more cautious. They start asking the tough questions. Is this player still the guy? Can he still separate like he used to? Can he handle a full season at a high level? What complicates things even more is that his current stance seems more financial than competitive. He's not just looking for a chance to prove himself, he's looking for the right number. That's fine, it's a business. But teams also want guys who are hungry, motivated, and willing to contribute to a winning culture, even if it means compromising a bit. And that's where the gap really seems to be. Based on what his agent is putting out there, the interest might not be mutual. It sounds like the team reached out, tested the waters, and didn't get much in return. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does suggest that the window for this particular move might be closing. Meanwhile, there's a clear sense of direction with the rest of the roster. The players who showed up are setting the tone, plain and simple. Whether they're locked into long-term deals or not, their presence speaks volumes. It tells the coaching staff that they're ready to work. It tells their teammates that they're committed to something bigger. And it sends a message to the league. This team is building something. It also helps that the coaching staff seems dialed in. The return of a familiar face, a coach who knows the system, understands the locker room dynamics, and has a track record with these players, can't be underestimated. His presence adds structure, familiarity, and most importantly, trust. When players see someone they respect walking back into the building, it changes the energy. They respond differently. They push a little harder. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. As the draft approaches, every move becomes magnified. Teams are finalizing boards, reviewing tape, and lining up trade possibilities. But more than anything, they're watching how their current roster responds. The front office wants to know who's all in, who's ready to lead, who's setting the example. That matters just as much as any prospect they might bring in. Because no matter how talented a rookie class might be, if the veterans don't lay the groundwork, it's going to be tough to build anything sustainable. And from what we've seen so far, this group looks ready. The energy is high, the communication is sharp. And even with contract situations still lingering, there's a noticeable lack of drama. That's a win in itself. It means the locker room is aligned. It means the leadership group is doing its job. And it means the team is in a position to hit the ground running when training camp begins. But make no mistake, there are still decisions to be made. There are still players on the bubble, deals being discussed, and roles to be defined. That's the nature of the league. Nothing is ever really settled until the ink is dry and the pads come on. But for now, the signs are promising. The pieces are falling into place. And with the draft just around the corner, this feels like the calm before the storm. In the best way possible. Everyone's watching. The fans, the media, the rest of the league. And when a team starts getting its house in order early, it sends a message. It shows discipline, it shows foresight, and most importantly, it shows belief in the players, in the coaches, and in the process. That belief is what turns a good team into a great one. And based on everything we're seeing right now, it looks like this group is ready to take that leap. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a stunning turn of events that has shaken the NFL landscape, San Francisco 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan has officially bid farewell to quarterback Brock Purdy, who has signed a deal with one of the franchise's fiercest rivals. After emerging as a fan favorite and leading the Niners to several deep playoff runs, Purdy's departure marks the end of a memorable chapter in the Bay Area. The young quarterback, who rose from being Mr. Irrelevant in the 2022 NFL Draft to becoming the starter of one of the league's most respected teams, will now wear a different uniform. One that will face San Francisco with the kind of intensity only a divisional rivalry can bring. While the details of the contract have not yet been officially disclosed, sources close to the situation suggest that the financial terms and the opportunity for a long-term starting role played a significant part in Purdy's decision to leave. The 49ers will see what 49ers. Shanahan, known for his strategic mind and emotional composure, showed rare vulnerability in a press conference earlier today. Brock was more than just a quarterback for us. He was a leader, a fighter, and someone who always gave us a chance to win. Watching him grow from a late draft pick to the heart of our offense was something special. Of course we're going to miss him, Shanahan said. Fans across the Bay Area are grappling with the unexpected move. many expressing sadness and even frustration on social media. For some, Purdy symbolized resilience and hope, especially after stepping in during critical moments when the team needed stability. Now, that symbol has shifted to a rival sideline, setting the stage for emotional matchups in the seasons to come. The 49ers front office now faces the task of redefining its quarterback future, while Purdy begins a new chapter, determined to prove himself once again, this time against his former team. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.